We'll start when Angie first starts. Is that her behind you?
We're not going to wait on her. She's here. She'll jump in here in a minute.
Can I jump in for a second?
Yeah, she's going to be in and out, I guess.
I was just letting. Hey guys.
Hello.
Hey,
This is Angie. She's my wife, and the other part of it. She's
Angie,
the
the
accountant.
wife. Great.
She's the wife. She's the Angie Fitco. That's the account we're using to do this.
Oh, got you.
And she's the star of In the Closet.
No, I'm not. Butch, what is that in the background? What you got going on there?
very sunny. Not like I like to be in the woods.
Love that.
My favorite things, in the background.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's got the corona there.
Yeah, I like some tall buildings with phallic symbols,
That's awesome.
Oh yes.
Who
As
doesn't?
long as you're not eating those phallic symbols, right?
No.
Do you know that about Butch, Matt?
We
That
colored
he's gay?
eggs today, my kids and I.
Yeah, that we know, but
Oh.
And all the eggs. Just
he won't put anything in his mouth that's shaped anything like a penis.
Why is that, Butch? You running away from your own feelings, or?
well, it seems like I wanted to make a diet book one time. Don't eat anything shaped like a penis.
Sure.
Then I already felt this way and I already kind of lived that way. And then the movie Superbad came out.
Right. I remember. I know that.
And he said, I don't
That part.
eat anything shaped like a penis. And he's like, what's shaped like a penis? He's like, all the good foods, right? Popsicle.
Hot dogs,
Hot dogs, yeah.
Bananas.
bananas.
Validated everything. So then I just rolled with it. And so every time somebody sucks like a oblong thing in their mouth, I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't watch it. And then
Whenever he comes over, I try to have something for him to feed him.
Right.
I want to be that one person that actually gets to get him drunk enough that he'll actually not only eat something that's shaped like a penis, but he'll eat it from me, handing it to him. It'll just be a special moment.
started cutting stuff up. So I have fixed things a little bit. I mean, compared to before. Like I'll take a knife and cut like something up.
Is it like a fear that you will then be gay if you eat something that's shaped like a penis?
No, because I don't secretly think dicks are delicious like Joe Rogan.
Sure.
So nothing like that. No, I just don't want to I don't want anybody to look and see me really going to town licking the end of a popsicle.
Right.
And it just changes their perception of me. So kind of like that.
That's great.
It's interesting.
That's all I think about.
Yeah.
I thought it might be that. I thought it might be that you eating it and it tasting good would make you think, man, maybe one tastes this good.
Right. Yeah. Maybe one is strawberry flavored. You never
Yeah.
know.
No.
Should I put mustard on mine?
This is where you should start the podcast. I'm okay with this shape stuff. Yeah. No, this will be good. This is a good starting point. No, I don't. No, I don't have anything with the homosexuality. I just don't want to. Look like I'm giving anything special to anybody.
See, I exclusively eat penis-shaped foods. That's why I only drink out of a bottle.
Yeah.
And my gastrointestinal doctor is really pissed because I only eat hot dogs and popsicles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's bad, but it's a diet. You have to stick with it
Yeah.
if you want to see results.
Commitment.
If I had a diet that said don't eat anything penis shaped, people lose
Right.
weight because they would be like, that's taking out a lot of interesting things.
Sure.
Popsicles, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. I also don't eat any sauces or condiments that look like bodily fluids. It's another rule.
So no ranch,
No ranch, no blue cheese.
no
Well,
ketchup,
No ketchup, no mustard, no, literally nothing. No sauce, no condiment, no
no sauce.
Really?
That it almost hurts because I love sauce. Like growing up Indian,
Yeah.
the main dish is curry, which is a sauce. Like I can't imagine
I literally
not having sauce in my life.
I changed apartments one time because it smelled like curry. It freaks me out.
I'm a sauce guy. I love sauces.
I'm a saucy guy too.
I mean, I will stand in the sauce aisle, in the barbecue sauce aisle at Kroger, and just look for things to try.
It's ridiculous.
This kind of goes to the penis shape, but it also goes to the thing. I think there's nothing more disgusting in my entire life than watching a man eat a chicken wing.
Oh, same.
Yes, it freaks me out so bad.
It is so disgusting
Yeah, there's
when
stuff
somebody.
everywhere. It's not acceptable.
Watching somebody eat something off a bone makes me disgusted. Like a chicken wing, a chicken leg, a big turkey leg, like at the amusement parks, those big turkey legs. And the guy's like, rawr, rawr, like a savage. And you're like, calm down, bro. And then you got to wipe your feet. You got it all over your face.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
all
with
their
you.
fingers, their face. A lot of time, if it's hot, their nose is running. That's
Gross.
Yeah, if I go to
Sounds
Buffalo Wild
delicious.
Wings, I want to just murder everybody. It's just,
See, I love chicken wings, and I love all the saucy food and stuff like that. I can see where you're coming from. I've never looked to someone and been like, yeah, that's attractive. But I don't think it's ever like, if I was going on a first date or something like that, yeah, I wouldn't do barbecue. I wouldn't do wings or something like that.
I was in Texas and I eat boneless wings if I eat them
Sure.
because of that reason. But I was eating even with I think they might have, no, they didn't have sauce on because I don't eat sauce. I don't know why, but I was eating with a fork anyway. But I've seen a bunch of tables literally making fun of me because I'm not stupid. So they point at me and be like, he's eating with a fork.
Yeah.
I wanted to kill all those people.
I was
me.
getting ready to go there with that. I was saying, what's worse, being messy or actually eating with a knife and a fork? You know,
Being messy.
I've seen people eat ribs like that.
I wanted to take my fork and stab all those people in the eye and say, like, now who's winning now? But I didn't.
See, I'm just to enjoy yourself. If you enjoy getting messy and you don't care what people think, do it. If you want to eat with a fork and knife, do it.
I
Do what
agree.
you want.
It's in private.
Live your life.
I mean,
Because if you're going to eat with your fingers, though, do me one favor. If you're going to be the savage and you're just going to eat like a barbarian, cool. Do me one solid, though, and don't lick your fingers after.
Especially in this time and age, right?
Well, yeah.
It's totally.
Oh, yeah, because fingers are phallic and you want nothing. You can't go there, right?
Especially when you put it all the way in your mouth and just one by one.
See, I don't do that. The way I get around this is I just do it all at the same time.
Yeah.
And then, so I don't have to do each individual one. I just take it all and,
Okay.
That's a good strategy.
fix
I might have to work
that problem.
Try that one out.
They make these things, they're called napkins. They're really cool. They're like a cloth-like fabric, and then when you're messy, you just like go like this with them, and then you don't even have to lick your fingers. It's amazing.
I've seen a lot of
Haven't heard
angst
this.
on Butch.
There's what?
I'm seeing you've been more frustrated or upset in this podcast than I've ever seen you. And now it's feeding Angie. Butch he's wanted to kill multiple people already on this.
Nice.
The guy from 6 months ago that stepped on his foot.
We're going to cut that part out. So let's leave that part out. But,
Well, I'm not going to go into detail of where it was or what happened.
Yeah. Let's cut
And
that
now,
out. That way I can
guys
share.
in Texas, right,
Yeah.
that
No,
were making fun of you.
I think I have more anger when it comes to food, which is odd. But Lisa does too. My wife obviously, but she don't like people eating around her if she's not eating. She'll just freak out.
Interesting.
She has that chewing sound. She wants to murder people.
Oh, yes.
If you're like chewing
Noted.
bubble gum, she wants to kill like you. She'll be like, what? She'll just
We'll
be
have snacks the next time we do a podcast with her.
Oh, that'd be the worst.
We'll both start melting. Like, no.
It's good to know those little things about people, especially if you're going to be quarantined with them.
Yeah,
know?
it's very true. She's rough. Are you guys having our okay quarantine time? All of you?
Our office shut down just this week, so I've only been quarantined for like Thursday and Friday, and that was it. So it's just starting for me. I'd been working this whole time.
And
We'll be
literally,
checking in.
I don't know when it started, but I think it started longer than you guys because I was on a cruise,
Right.
which is the worst place to be, right? So
Right.
when I was on the last 2 to 3 days of the cruise is when it went haywire, which it was already starting. So like the going on the cruise was a bad idea. However, it was a bucket list thing for my wife and her mom and her family. So like I was like not winning that argument.
Right.
Everybody also was in the phase where it's I guess you read Facebook too much and they're like it's not as bad as the flu and it's bullshit. And so that's the other thing. If it's like political, the Republicans blame the Democrats like it's a hoax and whatever. So we're in about that period. So anyway, we're like I was like, well, I guess I'm going on this cruise. And then about 2-3 days later, not later, but before we got off, they had like a thing on where they were not letting cruises dock. So I was like, if I get stuck on this freaking boat, another thing, I was like, I'm going to kill somebody. So like, luckily, not so luckily, we didn't get stuck on the cruise because literally, I think they knew. They didn't want to mess with it. So which is weird. Going on the cruise, they checked everybody's temperature. If you had a temperature over like whatever it was at the time, you couldn't get on. Getting off, they did not give a crap. They just said, get the hell off. And they just turned loose. Yeah, so we turned loose, which is good. That way I didn't have to get stuck on a boat, went home. We self-isolated early. So we were in front of everybody before they made the mandate. I had a tournament scheduled on 3/21. So I was contemplating still doing the tournament because there's no cases in West Virginia, so whatever. But I think a day or two before the tournament, that's when all hell broke loose. They pretty much shut everybody down and stuff like that. But then, probably another 3-4 days after that, I got a letter in the mail that said a bunch of people on our boat had it. So they're like, you probably had it. So it was good. What's that?
There was some friends of ours that were on the cruise with you. And Lisa and Monty, you met them, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she texted me and asked how you guys were feeling because she heard the same thing, that there were some people on the boat that had it, and she was checking to make sure you all were okay. So
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we got it when we were on the cruise because they recirculate the air on the cruise, right? So everybody's breathing the same air from every cabin. That's why everybody on cruises get it so bad.
Yeah, I've heard that's like one of the hotbeds for disease and stuff is circulated air.
Yeah, you're scrammed with everything. It's not the best. Even when you go on excursion and they say, okay, we're going to dock at Jamaica, Bahamas, all the places we went.
Right.
Boat into a boat, jam pack, right? To get on the place and get off. I mean, you're rammed up in people. I mean, it's weird. So, there's no way we didn't get it.
Yeah, that's a small detail last week that would have been nice, before we scheduled to all get together and get hammered.
Yeah.
Do a podcast.
No, it's
it's great that we can still all get together at least.
Yeah, no, it is. I'm kidding. It's awesome. I love this thing. We've been able to do a lot with it, actually.
Yeah, we passed our 2-week quarantine and stuff, so we're good. But that's the thing. So when there's an antibody test, which they're saying, a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, I will get that because I'm pretty sure that I had it. And that'll be helpful because that means I shouldn't be able to get it again this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Theoretically. So I'm pretty sure I did. I think a couple days before we got off, Logan and I, my son, we took our temperature and we both had 102, 103 temperature.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, fairly certain that we had it. So no symptoms other than that. We just took our temperature for the hell of it. I did feel hot, but I didn't feel sick. And anyway,
Interesting.
It's really odd how it affects people. Some people they get some of those symptoms, but it doesn't bother them. They don't feel sick. They don't feel flu-like. And then there's other people it's killing.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. And I heard that. I guess it's also it's a big deal what blood type you are. Like, I guess it's really bad on people who have A blood type.
Yeah.
And then what's the other O positive? I don't know.
I probably know all that stuff. I don't know, but I must be on the superhuman one. So I was pretty good.
We already knew that.
Yeah.
So that was already evident.
All right.
Yeah. So anyway, we self-quarantined before everybody. So now we haven't been outside for 3-4 weeks or something like that. It's been kind of ridiculous. So anyway, so Monty and them were on there, and then another guy that we know, and I guess they're probably with that other family that I know.
I think so.
Yeah. Which is odd, being on a ship full of people and then turn the corner and see people,
Yeah.
Weird.
Especially from West Virginia.
Yeah.
I always thought that was funny when we lived out of state in Atlanta. Every time I wore West Virginia gear, somebody was from West Virginia. I'd be out at the grocery store and somebody'd see the hat and they'd be, it just is weird that such a small state.
Yeah. See, I felt like that on that boat because everybody had an Ohio State shirt on. And I was like, yes, my people.
Yes.
I saw West Virginia people. I didn't want to talk to them,
Right. See enough of you people.
Yeah. See you all the time. I like my old people. I'm just kidding.
Matt, I want to go back for a second to
Sure.
you said them two brothers wasn't awesome for you.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot what we were talking about.
No, I mean, I just want to get back because I'm interested in, you said that you were doing about a show a week. Was it just like, were they in town? Did you have to travel?
Yeah, most of them, they were all in town. And when I say like a show a week, it wasn't like I was the headliner and doing like an hour set or anything like that. But it's more like they're like, hey, we need, we want to get 5 comics, and these are paid shows. So, and by paid, I mean like $20. But hey, any amount of money I'm happy with.
You're paid to practice.
World famous comedy store that pays you about $20.
Yeah, and it's a great feeling because I used to do open mics all the time, and like they could give me $5 and it'd still be an amazing feeling. Just getting paid any amount of money because people think you're funny and want to see you do a thing that you like doing.
Mhm.
It's the best feeling ever. If they pay me, $1.20 or $20, I'd have the same feeling.
Do you have your comedy on? Do you have a YouTube channel or anything like that?
I have like I don't have a YouTube channel that I market. I just upload my comedy to YouTube so I can send my friends links so it's easier for them to watch.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm just wondering, since you're talking about it, like if there's a place people can listen to it, because it'd be awkward if Jeff was like, "Hey, tell us some jokes, man."
Well, yeah, I can Jeff, after this, I can just send you the link to those videos and you can put them in the description of this podcast or whatever if anyone wants to
No, I was
listen
going
to
to
them.
get that from you. I definitely want to do that. If you
Yeah,
want to know
sure.
it. And I don't know if you're like, it was funny. I was talking to a guy because obviously I'm extremely interested in comedy and local comedy. But I was talking to one of my clients who was talking about a guy up in, I guess, the Parkersburg area that's
Hmm.
supposed to be he said he was pretty well-known comic for the local area. Like he did a lot of shows. And I was like, well, I'll check him out. Where can I see his stuff? Do you have YouTube? He said, no, he doesn't put anything out there because he doesn't want anybody to steal his stuff.
The
And
thing is, if you put it out there, it's actually better because
yeah,
someone does steal your stuff. You can be like, look, I have documented evidence that I said it first.
yeah, it's not the old days. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You got it out there. So I think, well, I guess I want to get out and try to do it a little bit. I would like to do just some freaking open mics just to see if I've got anything funny, you know?
I think absolutely. I think a lot of people are more intimidated than they need to be about it because everybody laughs and everyone's thought of funny things. It's just that I decided to write it down, and then all I did was think about, okay, how am I going to explain why this is funny to other people? And then those are the first two steps. I really think that anybody can do an open mic and get some laughs.
How do you? One of the things that, because obviously you and I had talked a few times about stuff, right?
Yeah.
How do you? Because there's a difference between, maybe there's not. Like if I tell you a story, right? Like me and you
Yeah.
at dinner, and I'm telling you kind of a story. How do you format that differently for an audience than you would for like a one-on-one situation?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I have a problem doing story jokes, just because, in my opinion, they're harder to do. Because if I do a joke that's between 10 and like 5 to 10 seconds long, if it doesn't work, great, I'm on to the next one.
Yeah.
If it does work, great, I'm on to the next one. A story joke, if it's not going well, you have to finish it. You
Yeah.
can't go, you don't like it. But I think there's a lot of factors that go into, because when you tell a story in person to someone and they're laughing because your story is probably funny, but they know you and you know them. You know how to talk to the people you talk to most. You
Yeah.
know, like if I'm hanging out with my mom, I know how to make my mom laugh. You know.
I get, but as it's the thing, there's so many different styles. We talked about that,
Yeah.
right? I'm just guessing without doing comedy that mine would be a story style, right? I could be wrong until you did it, but the only reason I say this because like every time I will be at an event, they'll say like, "Man, tell somebody about that time," blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
So that I end up telling the same thing over and over. However, I don't. The difference between that and comedy is like sometimes it gets laughs, sometimes it don't, because a couple things happen. One is that it depends on your mood, right? Like I could be at this party and somebody says, "Hey, tell somebody the story about whatever." Maybe I'm just in a bad mood, so I'd say it and everybody just sits there, right? Another time I could say it and I don't have the, because I didn't write it down. It's not like a real joke set. I say it differently different times, right? And so like that's the thing. I've had these stories that sometimes people go like die laughing, crying, and then another time I'll say the same exact story, which is probably not exact, right? And then people will be like, "Oh, that's cool." Like last time I told that, like people are dying on the floor laughing, right? So, but I think that's the difference between, like the one time you say you could add something a little bit different than everybody thought. That was the part that kind of put it over the edge. But the next time I said I didn't add that part because I didn't write it down, it's not really like a real set kind of deal. But anyway, my point is like I think just because that's the way I end up talking and making people laugh is like they're real stories typically, right? but I remember them, you know, and then I'm sure that I embellish some parts on that to make it a little bit funnier, you know. But,
I mean, the best part too is that you can embellish all you want
yeah.
because you're there not to tell the truth. You're there to make people laugh. And I think that when you do story jokes, you tend to you tend to over embellish anyway. I do it all the time if I'm telling a story joke. But also, it's hard if an audience. I kind of have a rule where I'm like, I need to try a joke 4 or 5 times with an audience before I decide to throw it out for good. If I think it's never going to work, because like you said, telling certain people jokes is great, and then telling other people jokes it falls flat. Maybe it's not the way you're telling it, and it could be too, but it just every audience is different, whether it's one person or 100.
Yeah.
Well, kind of like you said about the open mics, or not even open mics, but the shows you've done.
Yeah.
At the one you went to, they didn't really respond well because it was a restaurant and it was a different crowd. There's an expectation, I think, like anytime we go out of town, like we went out of town in January, we always go to a comedy club. We went to Indianapolis, went to a comedy club, and then we just went out of town, went to another comedy club in Louisville. But right before all this went down, but every time you go to a comedy club, whether it be at the 7:30 show or at the 10 o'clock show, you go in with that expectation in your mindset, I'm not going to get offended by anything.
Yes.
Kind of have that mindset when you go to a comedy club.
If
you're not a comedy fan, you walk into a restaurant.
Saying normal,
It's,
I guess it's probably not the right way. Like today's group, right? Even professional comics talk about that it's hard times, right? Because everybody's offended by everything now. You know what I mean? Like that's why, for example, the last Dave Chappelle special, right? I thought it was personally ingenious, and not because I'm a fan of his or nothing, but I thought he picked every hard subject that you're supposed to not talk about, and he was able to talk about it personally, because I thought he kind of played both sides a little bit, right? However, so even though I'm like, man, I give him a lot of credit, because I was like, this guy literally talked about gun control, abortion, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember every subject that's a little bit touchy. And I thought he did a masterful job as a comedian, no matter what your opinion was. However, when I got on Facebook, I heard people calling him a Trump supporter. I'll never like him again. I thought he was better than that. And he hates whatever about abortion, what about gun control. You know what I mean? It's like people just somehow look past things, that it's not comedy. And they're like, I'll never support him again. I used to like him, but he said this. Listen, like we said, the stories are made up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's trying to get a joke. He purposely picked abortion, gun control. I'm only remembering a couple, but every controversial subject.
Yeah, he did a lot.
Yeah. I mean, so anyway, my point is, like, even at, it's hard nowadays, I think, because everybody's like, I thought the part of comedy, and that's the thing. Some people are dark comedians. Jesselnick, I think, is one that's really dark.
Jesselnick is.
And so it's supposed to be offensive, right? He might talk about shootings, stuff like that, and make some awful joke that you're like, damn, you shouldn't have said that, or that's too soon. But that's comedy, whether you like it or don't. Like, sometimes I'll even laugh at something like, oh, he shouldn't have said that. But I still kind of think it's funny. I didn't really bust out laughing, but I still, what I mean? It's comedy. And then if I don't like it, I don't like every joke. That's the thing. I'm not going to go, I hate Matt Saldanha because he said such and such, right? Like,
right.
I'm a little more dark and off color, because I get that. Ange, there's a few topics I touch that I make jokes about that she literally is like, if you ever are in front of a crowd, I'm not coming if you tell those jokes.
Well, I mean, and I know Jeff and I don't know about you, about Matt, we like Joe Rogan and some of their podcasts and stuff. They will say some of the really awful stuff, like really awful. Most of the time, he does a good job of saying, hey, if anybody's offended by that, I'm just joking. I'm a comedian, right?
See, that's a good point. That one, if you go to a comedy show, I think a big problem, because I like the Dave Chappelle special that he did. I don't agree with most of it, but I loved it because comedians are not meant to be taken seriously when it comes to politics or social nothing. It's like watching when a movie like I think Jeremy Renner was in a movie about Jeffrey Dahmer, and watching that movie and going be like, oh my god, Jeremy Renner kills people.
Yeah.
Like, no, his job is to act as that kid. Like, they're making you laugh and they're talking about dark things. Why in the world are you taking them seriously on anything?
Yeah.
That they say there.
If they had to really be passionate and believe in everything they talked about, they'd never have enough material.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is on the flip side, what is your opinion, which I haven't seen anybody do it in a while.
Sure.
There's some people that use it as to actually give their own opinion. Like they'll be given a good, and I'm talking about even really good people. I can't remember who off the top of my head, but they'll be doing their set and all of a sudden they'll be like, blah, and they'll just give a speech. And they're like, and you're like, man,
Maybe Bill Maher.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think I've even heard Bill Burr or somebody like that. Maybe not, but I may could be picking. But like people that would be given a good thing, and then all of a sudden they'll just kind of give their opinion. Man, I'm like, that's where you're losing me.
Yes, yeah. There's a fine line, because I think yes, it's harder for people to tell comedy or to do comedy without offending one or two people in the audience now. Like, I'll admit that that's true, but I think a lot of people are using it as an excuse when their jokes fall flat or something.
It's true.
I got you.
Because it is hard. I think it's harder to do dark comedy. And I do dark comedy jokes a lot. Like, I've joked about school shootings, I've joked about abortion and stuff, and I think there's a right way.
From West Virginia. You're brave.
Yeah, I've gotten some laughs with those jokes in West Virginia. Because I practiced. I practiced those jokes a lot. And the thing is, I've seen it happen where people will tell dark jokes and then no one will laugh, and they'll be like, and then afterwards they'll be like, I guess people just don't like dark comedy. Like, you didn't tell it right. You weren't funny. A lot of times people blame when they're not funny on, all people are just too PC. Like, I've had a show where I've gone, maybe one or two laughs in a whole 8 minutes, and I just chalked it up to, well, the audience didn't like me. They're the ones that decide whether I'm funny or not you. You just got to be funnier next time.
Well, that's why you work it out.
It's on you or on them always? Or...
I mean, it's certainly because I'm there to make them laugh. And if they don't laugh, then is it their fault? Is it my fault? Obviously, it's not all on one party.
You don't bring enough energy, or what I mean? Like,
could be.
Because it could be the same with all of us. Like, I could be teaching a jiu-jitsu class, right? And you guys posted in there. Some go great, and I've not done anything special. And people say, that's a great class. But it was because of the way I joked around with people, or the way, what I mean? We're all laughing.
Yeah, your energy.
Another time where I don't feel like talking to anybody. I'll come in. I just had a bad day at work, and I'll be like, let's do this move, let's do that. And I'm like, that class sucked. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's on me. It's the same moves. Just like you're saying, it could be the same jokes, but my energy was flat. I'm just wondering, what I mean? But it could be I've only been to one, and I go to comedy all the time, and I remember that, I don't know if you did, Matt, but Matthew, but if you went to the Comedy Zone in South Charleston,
I never got a chance to.
It was one of my favorite places. I used to go all the time, and in the history of me going, there's only one guy that just bombed. I mean? Like, there's people that aren't great, and it's okay. Yeah. You kind of get some chuckles. This guy was, and I'm not even saying he's bad. I'm just going to say he was so bad, but he really might not have been, right? But it was so bad that even he was like, man, you're killing me. And he's sweating, he's pouring the sweat down, it was just getting worse. It was like piling up, and it was like, it's kind of like they say on Joe Rogan podcast, the guy was eating dicks, I mean? It was horrible. I felt so bad for him. And the next guy came up and demolished it. He did so good. It was a 180-degree turnaround, which I was like shocked, and I don't know what the difference was. But I don't know if that guy he got started off on the wrong foot and it snowballed.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, it was odd, because normally, and that was my trick when I went to the Comedy Zone all the time, I would drink like crazy. Mm-hmm. I was like, the more I drink, the funnier people are. That was my thing. So everybody was funny. And even I was sitting there just dumbfounded. I was like, this is just not good. But I felt like it was the energy too, right? I'm not going to blame that guy.
I think the funny thing is, though, is you see, like, I know I listen to a lot of comedians' podcasts just to kind of figure out the game and listen and just try to soak it in, get a little education. And all these great guys, they were that guy. They had that story where they were that guy where they just got up there one night and they bombed and they just sweated and they couldn't wait to get out of there. I
I think
mean,
that's very important, right?
right, yeah.
It's important for everything that we do. Like if we suck at our job, or if I suck at jujitsu or teaching, right, I have to get better. I either or sink or swim, right? Probably the same for you, Matt. Now, one question I guess I got on that. Your brother does it too, right?
Yeah, my brother does comedy as well.
Which I've never heard is I just know I saw this last time that you both were on that.
Mm-hmm.
You sent it to me, so I didn't, and I don't know your brother, but which is cool. So I mean, and on top of that, you won. What did you win?
There was a West Virginia comedy competition. I think they did it like the prelims in a couple of cities. I know Charleston, Parkersburg were two. And then the finals were held. There were 14 or 15 of us in the finals. That was held here in Charleston.
So did you enter it like on a whim, or was this planned?
Yeah. I would just, because I used to work at a large company, and one of the guys I worked with, his name is BT. He was helping the guy put it on, and he knew I did comedy. He's like, "Hey, I'm doing this competition. Do you want to sign up?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right." And actually, an interesting thing that this actually, but an interesting point of topic is I was talking about how I did a really bad show at Dem Two Brothers. That was the first round of the competition.
Really? But they
And
did well enough.
yeah, the judges thought I was funny, and that's why they
Is
put me
that
through.
rare, or is that commonplace? What do you think?
That was actually my first competition I had ever done, so I didn't really know how common it is for the audience to hate you, but the judges love you.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jeff, as an outsider, when both of us weren't there,
Yeah.
I would think that's very.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was super weird.
That's what it meant to me, Butch, that I actually signed up for and then had to be out of town or something happened. Because I had people lined up because you had to take so many people with you, right? Like,
yeah.
Because I had 2 or 3 people that were going to go. I think I asked you to go, and something was up, but something happened for me and with my family. I got 4 freaking kids, so
Oh, you poor man.
something happened, and I remember that though. I remember the Dem Two Brothers, so that's pretty cool. That they had a competition that snowballed into a statewide thing, and that you got that.
That was number one of how many?
In the finals, I think 15 of us were competing.
How many shows did you have to do to make the finals? Just one?
Oh, it was just one, and then they picked I think they picked anywhere between 2 and 3 people from each of the prelim competitions to go to the finals. So when I say finals, I don't mean it was like a long tournament. It was just as long as you did good in the first round, you go to the finals.
So then, and BT was the head of all that, Brian Thompson.
Yeah, BT was the MC for BT and another guy, and I feel so bad. I forgot his name, and he was the one who gave me the money. He was the one who funded it, and I feel terrible. And now it's being recorded that I forgot his name. But those 2 guys put it on.
So when I was at the Palette, which is a great bar, by the way, since we've not talked about that before. So when I was at that,
Fantastic.
I will tell you that BT told me, because I mentioned you there, he said you were one of his favorite comedians, and if you stuck with it, you'd be one of the you'd be famous. He loved you.
Oh, that BT is definitely one of the guys that kept me in comedy, because after that show, I felt so bad because my brother did really good at that show, and the guy said both our names, and then he came up to me after. He's like, "Hey, I really liked your set, and I think it's really cool that now we got 2 brothers going into the finals." And I felt really bad because I thought, oh, he just put me in because I'm Steven's brother. Then I went to BT at work, and I was like, "Hey, man, maybe you should give my spot to one of the other guys because there were guys that were funnier there." And he's the one who told me, he's like, "Wait, before you throw in the towel, just go, try it out. You might do okay." He's the one who kept me into it. And then once I won the competition, then I got that itch again to keep doing comedy. Because there was a time I went 8 months because I was traveling in Europe and didn't do any comedy there.
Wow. You should have did some in Germany.
I should have. And I do. That was a great experience because I do have a lot of jokes about Germany, which is great.
Hitler, or what are they about?
So here's an interesting thing. I do want your opinion on your guys' opinion on this. So I do have like a Hitler joke, but
Yeah.
the joke kind of goes like I need to explain the joke now because now people are gonna be like, this guy tells Holocaust jokes if they watch this. So like I said before, I think you can joke about anything. You have to do it in the right way and you have to have the right audience.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna go to go tell cancer jokes at a chemotherapy clinic. Like
Right.
not the right crowd, you know. So I would only do the darkest jokes you say for comedy clubs. But yeah, I had a joke about how Germans are really nice because I was in the city Cologne, and everyone there was super nice to me, wonderful. Which I've talked to other friends that went to Germany, they didn't have that experience, but I had that experience where everyone was super nice. And the joke kind of goes, oh, it's kind of funny how Germans are really nice now because it's like your roommate being really nice to you the morning after he got drunk and like shit on your carpet and ate your leftovers,
Yeah.
you know? And the joke being that Germans are really nice, but you know what they did, kind of a thing. And that was the joke. And I was at a lunch with somebody, my roommate's friends. Sorry, what did you say?
You were at a bar mitzvah?
No, I was at a lunch. No, that would be hilarious if I told that joke at a bar mitzvah. But I was at a lunch with friends, and they asked me like, "Oh, you do comedy? Like what are some how did your last show go?" I'm like, "Well, I went okay, but I had a Hitler joke that didn't go very well." And one of the girls we were having lunch with, I didn't know that she was Jewish, and she's like, "Oh, well, I would have booed you immediately." But I didn't even explain the joke. It was just that that's a topic where she could never find funny.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
it got me thinking, I'm like, are there topics that we should never joke about? I'm still at the point where I'm like, no, I think there's a time and a place for any topic, but I could totally be wrong.
Well,
Yeah, I kind of feel that way. There's, like you said, there's an audience or there's a right time and place, and that time and place might only be with like a group behind
Right.
closed doors. Like because I grew up. That's I think why it's so dark because I'm the oldest of four. I got two brothers and a sister who's the youngest. But I mean that's kind of what I was known for and still am with them is like here's the line, and Jeff always has to go way over here. Jump the line
Mhm.
tenfold. And it's always just been, and we all just howl laughing, and we all pretty dark sense of humors. And it's just, and then you go out there and you do that. I mean, I've had podcasts with people that I make a joke and not even thinking. Angie's like, she apologizes when we go places. She already tells people, I'm sorry, he may say something that offends you while we're here trying to be funny. So
well, how
don't
many
hold it against me.
dark comedians are? I mean, I literally only know Anthony Jeselnik. There's probably only a handful. So that's not a giant genre. If I was going to count Netflix specials, right?
No.
Yeah, I
Yes.
would think Anthony Jeselnik is the first guy that comes to mind. Daniel Tosh kind of had that like edgy humor
That's true.
That's
to
true.
him.
Yeah.
Tom Segura had some great
I like Tom.
his newest stand-up, he made fun of like people from Louisiana and gypsies and a lot of things. And that is something to point out, though, that when you attract your own audience, you have a lot more freedom.
That's true.
That's a good point.
If you look at Anthony Jeselnik's old stuff, he was actually like a lot less dark. Like told lots of mainstream comedy, which is what I throw in some dark jokes here and there. But that's when people, if I ever get to the point where people are coming to see me, which that'd be amazing. But if people are coming to see me, I can try out way more stuff because they like are more biased to laughing at me because they came to see me.
Well, that's true. Like I'm sure you guys heard those podcasts where people like Robin Williams, Steve Martin,
Hmm.
on and on and on. We're like as soon as and Eddie Murphy, right? As soon as I walk on the stage, people laugh. Like I could just come on and literally say nothing, and Eddie Murphy's done. I've been at comedy concerts where people like stood out there, complete silence, and people just keep laughing, right? And that's what they'll like. I can just say whatever and they're gonna laugh. And so at like the guys that I mentioned, Robin Williams, Steve Martin and stuff, they would have people at the Comedy Store and some other places say, hey, like I need you to listen to my set because I need somebody to give me an honest opinion because everybody's laughing at everything I say. I need you to let me know if it's good or if it's just garbage, right? And then other comedians,
problem.
your stuff's not very good or something, and they'd be like, oh, okay, let me fix it up, right? Which is interesting, right? You know what I mean? Like it would take, there's probably only a handful of, just like being a championship boxer, a championship MMA fighter, that's the 1% or the half of 1% being there. Those are the 1% of the comedians that every time they get on stage, everybody's going to laugh at everything, no matter what they say, right? You know, none of us probably get at that level, but that's an interesting level, right? Because nobody knows, right? Which, unrelated, but kind of unrelated. Jeff, what do you think? Because we talked about this for a while. We wanted to go to the Bert Kreischer show.
Oh, he's funny.
So freaking bummed, man.
That's in May. I'm going to bet you they cancel that. What do you think?
I would be shocked because, I mean, I just listened to him on Rogan. He was on there last week maybe, and it just sounds like he didn't say anything about his shows, but his tone about not going anywhere and how they're worried about it lasting longer than May.
Yeah.
I just can't see those guys going on the road. And especially the thing that'll suck, man, the biggest thing I was looking forward to about that night was going to the bar after the show, because he always does that. And now I'm thinking he'll probably cut that out for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going out high-fiving people and getting crazy.
Yeah. Oh, Jeff, another unrelated question. I know you're editing this. Can we
this greatly? He'll edit. But
I was just wondering if I can get another beer real quick because I'm out.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Me and Butch we'll party on.
Blabber on. I'll be right back.
Blabber on.
What am I gonna say? Oh, yeah, I don't know. Oh, so there was I don't remember the year, but it was whenever, which is funny. So anyway, there's a point in time where MMA was illegal in West Virginia, right?
Right.
So tons of people helped, you know, to try to make it legal, and they did some stuff and whatever. But what ultimately made it legal, just to be honest with you, was the UFC came in and opened their pocketbooks and lobbied, right? So lobbying is what it is.
Right.
And made it legal. So anyway, I was part of that. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because whenever year, I can't remember what year that was. So it was after 2009. The only reason I know that is because I was married in 2009. So I know it was after 2009, but not as late as now. But anyway, I was one of the people that helped, and I was working with the UFC to help make MMA legal in West Virginia. So they gave me, when it became legal in West Virginia, they gave me VIP tickets to one of the UFCs that was in Pittsburgh. Gave me backstage passes to anything I wanted. Quite honestly, it was probably the best. It's only like because of that experience, which was one of the best experiences of my life, and my wife's life, and everybody else that went. I can't go to another UFC because like they put us in the best section. I went down and hung out with the ring card girls. I hung out with Dana White. I hung out I was walking around so much. Like we followed some fighter, like they would announce a fighter to come out for their match, and I would come out right after them so that I could feel what it's like to be in the UFC.
Feel that, yeah.
It was insane. And then after, or actually slightly before, Joey Diaz and Joe Rogan had a comedy special at a place in Pittsburgh, which was odd. I didn't even know who Joey Diaz was at the time.
Right.
He ended up being probably funnier than Rogan, and they were both hilarious.
He's so funny.
Front row, center section, literally front row. So front row, when Joey Diaz would wipe the sweat off his face and flick it like this, it would hit me and Lisa. Anyways, it was an amazing experience. That was so long ago that they weren't what they are now. So after the fight, or after the comedy show, Joey Diaz and Joe Rogan were just sitting out on the street in Pittsburgh, and we were hanging out. I've got pictures with them.
You showed me the one with them.
What's that?
I remember seeing the one with Joey.
Yeah, and the same thing. I mean, people are giving them joints. I mean, weird shit. And things I hear them talk about on the podcast now that they're like, I would never do whatever. You know, things that people are giving them joints, they're smoking them, stuff. I was like, dear God, I mean, these people are crazy. But anyway, the most crazy experience of my life is so awesome. but my point is that I don't even remember what my point is. But my point is that I got to be with those guys before they were famous. I knew the only reason I actually really liked Joe Rogan, I knew he was a good announcer and stuff, but because he did jiu-jitsu, right? I didn't know, like, he's not what he is now. There wasn't a ton of people there. The show was sold out, but it wasn't like, it was just like another thing to do kind of deal, right?
He wasn't really known, yeah.
Yeah, so it's crazy to see where they are now. Because it's funny because a lot of the jokes were like, at that time, like Joe Rogan's closing thing was like, if Brock Lesnar wanted to rape you, you couldn't stop him, right?
Right.
Like, I think he was making fun of himself. He's like, yeah, Joe Rogan or Brock Lesnar come up to me like a Viking and just fuck the shit out of me, and there's nothing I can do about it. And so then it's funny because then I end up being in the show because at that time I was, I'm a pretty big guy. I'm like 6'6", 6'7", but I was lifting a lot of weights. I was pretty big. So anyway, Joey Diaz saw me at the end of the show and he's like, look at that Brock Lesnar looking motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. And then they went crazy. That's why they're all taking pictures of me because they're like, yeah, if he wanted to rape me, he could, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it was really fun. But it's amazing to see, I don't remember why I started this story, but it's amazing to see where they've come from at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I literally didn't know who they were. I knew Joe Rogan as the Fear Factor guy.
Right.
Joey Diaz was, and he just blew our socks off. We were laughing so hard probably at his stuff more than Joe Rogan's actually.
Right.
Joe Rogan's all materials about the UFC, which makes sense. We're there to watch the UFC. So all his materials about different fighters, different things. But anyway, whatever. I wish I knew why I started that story.
Well, I think it's just probably just to get around to the fact that the commute, like we were talking about before, it might have been, we're talking about how people, they were nothing and now they're huge.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think that, like, a Joey Diaz, I remember you showing me that picture back, I think it was before I really knew who he was.
Yeah. Well, think about it. Like the picture I showed you too, he was hugging me, right?
Yeah.
Joe Rogan was hugging me. That's the thing is now they even talk about their pocket. They're like, I don't do that anymore because so many people want a piece of them, right? That they can't do that. And like at the end of the show, Joe Rogan and Joey Diaz came out on the street. We were in Pittsburgh. They came out on the street and we're just hanging out with people. And so we went out and we hung out with them. Actually, some friends of mine gave Joe Rogan a T-shirt. They made a logo. So about that time, whatever that was, it was probably 2010, 2011. Tap Out was huge for us that knew fighting, right?
Right.
That's right when Tap Out signed a deal with Walmart. So all of a sudden, everything Tap Out was being sold at Walmart. So your everyday person all of a sudden now was wearing Tap Out. So at that time, whatever that year was, like if I saw you, Jeff or Matt wearing a Tap Out shirt, I'd go up and talk to you. I'd be like, hey man, you train? And you'd be like, yeah, I train at so-and-so. All of a sudden we'd be friends. It was like this little bonding moment, right? Then all of a sudden when that was sold at UFC, now I'd see somebody, or not UFC, at Walmart, I'd see somebody at wearing a Tap Out shirt, and I'm like, you train? And they'd be like, train what? I'm like, they don't even know, like, train fishing? I'm like, no, like your shirt, your Tap Out shirt. I don't know, bought it at Walmart. So like it changed all of us that were in this little hub of fighting that we were pissed, to be honest with you. So a guy in West Virginia named Cody Tuttle made the shirt that said Poser. It was made at the Tap Out logo, but it said Poser. And on the back it said, why train to fight if I can just wear the T-shirt? So we're literally making fun of everybody that wore Tap Out shit. But somebody gave it to Joe Rogan. He took it. He was like, yeah, I love this shirt, man. And he's friends with Mask and Skyscrape and all those guys. And that was the other thing. We're in Pittsburgh. Those guys were there. We're hanging out with those guys. My wife's got pictures with Skyscrape, I think Punk Ass. I don't know if Mask was dead at that point or not, but she's got pictures of all those guys. It's just a weird time, in one way, the good old days, and another way is, I guess it is the good old days because now I look at those same people that are world famous and they weren't famous at that time. It's kind of different times. But
you know what? Since we're on them, like, I don't know if maybe it's my observation, and I think, Matt, if you've been in the comedy game a while, you might see this more, but it's funny to me. Like, I've seen Joe Rogan. I've listened to him for years now, and
Yeah, same here.
If I didn't, I'll watch his stand up and I cry, but I don't think he's funny. Natural, like it's an art form for him. It's like
Well,
in his podcast, he rarely do you go laugh at him. Is the
Right,
thing.
yeah. That's very true.
His natural self, like his state, probably at home. He's probably like me. I feel like I'm the opposite.
He's-
Almost my best if I'm hanging out with you, and I
Yeah.
can sing one-liners off of you like a play-by-play guy.
Hmm.
he's goofy comedy, right? Like he gets high and then they start talking shit to each other, right?
Right. I mean, some of the stuff's funny, but I mean, it's like
Yeah.
I love that art of what you do because it's fun to see somebody craft something, and it can be funny, like you said. They work through it. Like you said, you're not going to drop a joke till you've done it in front of an audience 4 or 5 times
Yeah.
more. I mean, those guys work on those jokes for
A lot.
years before they put them out there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean in total, I've been serious like this year from November, so November, December, so about 6 or 7 months is the most serious I've taken the comedy now, like constantly writing and stuff like that. But the first stand up I ever did was I think 2017, 2018. So off and on for a couple years and then seriously taking it seriously now. But the most impressive thing that I think people don't really get a lot is that that doing a show for 45 minutes to an hour is the craziest thing to me because
How long is your show?
everything, if I put my best stuff together, like if someone was like, hey, you're getting a special on Netflix,
Mhm.
and I had to do the best I could, maybe 25 minutes,
Makes sense. Yeah.
and it's and then once they do that special on Netflix or HBO or wherever, that's it for those. The next
Yeah.
special, they have to come up with all new stuff.
Which is a new art form, right?
Yeah.
They're putting it out on Netflix, and a lot of guys, Joe Rogan and those guys in particular, they're trying to do a new material every 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
1 year is crazy, right? 2 years is still pretty crazy, but 2 years is the average, I think.
Yeah, and there was a very she's young. She just had a Netflix special. Her name is Taylor Tomlinson. I don't know if you guys have seen her. She's only 25 years old. Just got a Netflix special, and I've seen her on Conan and like talk shows and some other of her stand-up stuff. But to be 25, she had an hour-long set. One of the funniest comedians I've ever seen. I definitely recommend anyone watch her special. It's on Netflix. It's phenomenal.
I'll
Yeah.
check that out.
How did you hear about her?
I was just most of my media consumption is actually YouTube because there's so many creators, whether you want to watch something about comedy or movies or video games or the news or just anything, it's all on YouTube. So yeah, like I said, 90% of my media consumption on YouTube. So eventually, if I'm on a certain topic, like I could spend an hour looking at ukulele videos or an hour looking at comedy, and it just pops up and then you recommend it. I was like, oh, I've never heard of her. I'll click on her, and that's how I found out about her. And then I recently saw, oh, she has a special on Netflix. I'll watch that, and it was fantastic.
Huh. That's interesting. So, as like a comedian, then do you watch like YouTube? Is that where you're finding everybody, and then Netflix after that? After you?
Yeah, mostly where I find really everything I enjoy, whether it's a new movie I want to see, or a new comedian, or books, video games, or just random stuff. It's mostly through YouTube or Reddit.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Reddit's great.
I literally don't watch YouTube ever, other than the shit that's behind me, which is my
Yeah.
stuff. But I literally don't, and I'm saying that as in maybe I should. We're in a different time right now, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm running out of material to watch. I watched Tiger King, like probably most of you guys, and all that other junk, and I've run out of stuff to watch. So maybe YouTube's my next option. That's kind of why I'm asking for a real.
Yeah, I mean,
And
any topic that you're interested in, there's YouTubers that have a huge following that make content solely on that specific topic.
Interesting.
And it's great. Like when I started training jujitsu with you, I immediately went to YouTube. I'm like, okay, who's making content
Mhm.
for me? Someone that's just starting jujitsu. And there's a guy, his name is Chujitsu.
Yeah, he's in Kentucky.
Yeah, him. And so he uploads to YouTube all the time. I was on the jujitsu subreddit reading as much as I could. I still suck, turns out. If you just watch a lot of stuff, you don't get better, which is kind of lame. But
I tried the same thing.
Yeah.
I watched videos constantly when I started out in
turns
jiu-jitsu.
out to get better, you just got to get the shit beat out of you.
So did you guys not random? I mean, it's kind of self-serving, but I put out that video, right? Did you guys watch that? That's
Yeah, I watched it.
it's like from like 2009 or 10 or something.
I was going to say you looked really young.
I looked slim and trim and nice and different person altogether. It's very good.
Back when life was easy and you could go to the store. You
Yeah.
could go get a beer at a bar with people.
Yeah, I had to walk almost 100 feet to get this beer.
So what do you got? So this kind of goes on that topic. I've been slightly reluctant to do online classes for jiu-jitsu,
Sure.
mainly because I don't get the concept, right? And maybe because I've watched them. But like saying that, let's say YouTube, for example. So if I put out like, who are you practicing with, right? Like,
Yeah, that's the problem. Like my golden retriever, is that who I'm gonna practice with?
Yeah.
to me it just didn't make a lot of sense. But on the flip side, like I had an hour DVD that I already had produced, right? Like where
Yeah.
I guess you saw, but I was like, why not? I mean, that's an hour worth of the content of basic jiu-jitsu. I was like, I'll just put this out, but I just still, I mean, I'm sure you, maybe Matt, you've watched, I'm sure you maybe have seen or haven't seen, but it doesn't matter. But I'm like, I just still don't get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like on the flip side where Angie and Lisa are doing Zoom meetings where they can work out. That makes more sense. Jiu-jitsu is just not a platform to me where unless Matt has a brother, right? Because
Right.
here's on the speaking on the same concept. I walked in my gym, I don't even know, like a week ago when I walked in there. It was fucking packed. I'll just tell you that. I was like, what the hell? There's people lifting weights. There's people doing jiu-jitsu. There's people downstairs. These are people that have keys, right? And they don't give a shit. And so they're just doing whatever they do. My thing is, as a person that people listen to and a person people look to for advice, I was like, I cannot be teaching classes. I cannot go to the gym and say, hey, let's work, even if I think it's okay.
Right.
Because my opinion, I don't want to pollute the world with my opinion, meaning that if I say this is not something you need to take seriously, and then people listen to me, and then they should have, then I'm a piece of shit, right? Basically, you know what I'm saying? Like, so my opinion doesn't matter. So I'm like more, I'm just keeping my opinion out of it, is basically. And even, listen, I'll be honest with you. There's people at the gym, they were working out. I wanted to work out. They texted me. I said, text me. Let me ask my wife. I'll let you know what she says. And they said, hey, man, I want to work out because I'm not working. And I really wanted to work out. And my wife said, no. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I can still do it. But it's the part of thinking like, look, I got to look beyond myself, right?
Yeah.
In particular, right now at my house, my mother-in-law, which is Lisa's mom's living here, you know, because she hasn't went home since the cruise because we self-isolated and just stuff. Do I want to, let's say that, because they don't have an antibody test. So we start off this podcast with saying that I probably had it. I still don't know, right? So I don't know if I did or didn't. So if I go to do jiu-jitsu and I pass it along and I bring it back to my mom's mom, which I don't know how she is, and she doesn't want you to know how old she is, so we're not going to talk about that. But if I did, she might get it and she might die. That's where I'll feel bad, because I was just like everybody else when we first started. I said, man, I'll be fine. I don't give a shit.
Me too.
That's how everybody at the gym is still to this day. They don't care. And my point is, I agree with you. But just like Matt keeps texting us, and he's right. He's all right on the money. He could affect his dad, who's 70, right? He could potentially kill his dad, right?
Yeah, and that's the scariest thing for me is like I'm a 24. Like if I get it, like I'm still have that stupid young person brain. Like as objective as I can be, I'm a young person that thinks he's invincible, and I know that's stupid. But there's a biological precedent for young people thinking this way, and it's true. But I'm also in contact with my dad every day, and like and it's not worth the risk.
Yeah, I think that you're an example for all of us. I mean, right? We're going to meet, and that's not a bad thing, right? Like, I think the reason I was cool with all three of us meeting is I think that I've had it, so I think that I'm going to be, and I think you guys are fine. I don't know for sure.
Well,
90% sure that I've probably had it, and you guys are fine.
Yeah, Angie actually was pulling back on that like
Women are smarter than us.
Thursday. I mean, the other day it was like she was like, we probably shouldn't do it in person.
She's a smart. My wife is the same. So
she's like, that doesn't make sense. And she was drinking the night I asked her. Like, I think we were texting at night, weren't we, when we first talked about it? I think so. And I said, hey, we're gonna, or maybe I just asked her and at night, and we'd both been drinking. She's like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But then 2 days later, she's like, are they really coming over? Is that going to really happen?
Yeah, my wife, and I mean, you guys are the same. I mean, we're men. So, I mean, my wife's the same. She's like, do you think that's a good idea? I just wrote yes and shut the conversation down. But it's not fair. You know what I mean, right? They've got valid opinions, and we probably did a good thing. Actually, 100% we did a good thing because we live by example, right? People are going to listen to, if people watch this, they should probably listen to or see what we do. And, you know, or let's not even say like we live by example, but let's say that we got chastised for being in the same room together, right? Even if we did in the same room together and we're 6 feet apart, right?
And with masks and gloves.
Yeah. There's
right.
People
that would have been fun.
Ask for it. Yeah.
Really great energy.
I'll tell you what, and it's one thing, the only thing that gets on my nerves about this whole thing is that people make it like Republican Democrat thing. It's a fucking disease.
Yeah, I hated that. I was going to mention that. I think I just lost my train of thought very beginning, like an hour ago, that every topic that should be a scientific topic, climate change or viruses, everything is politicized, and it's the most annoying thing.
Well, and let's preface this, not to be weird, but your dad's a doctor, right? So that's
correct. Yeah,
scientific as you could be, and I agree that up until recently, and I'm not going to say the Trump era. I'm going to actually really say like the Al Gore era, which there was no Al Gore era, right? But he's the one that put out the video about climate warming and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's about the time that people started saying science became political. Right. Yeah. So it says he could put out this thing that says global warming. Then he's a Democrat. So now you could be a Republican.
Sure. Now it's a Democratic.
It's bullshit, right?
Or a Democrat topic.
It's the same thing that I hear every day. Like, look, I'm the most anti-political person, meaning I'm Team America. Meaning I don't give a shit if Jeff is Republican and you're a Democrat.
Howdy.
If I like either one of you, I'm going to vote for you. I'm Team America, period. I don't check the boxes in all of them. Right? Meaning that I'm not gun control, abortion, blah, 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 whatever, everything. I'm a mix of everything. I'm Team America. If I like you and I agree with you, it is what it is. But the thing is, science is not political, right?
Yeah. Science doesn't care.
It is what it is. It's not religious and it's not political.
Like Trump's still on your TV. If you're Trump, rather you still think it's Democrat, he still says it's a thing we got to pay attention to. He started off saying the same thing. It was a hoax by the Democrats. He 100% did.
Yeah.
But he changed it. It's not a hoax anymore. I'm getting tired of seeing the shit on TV where it's like 100 people die of this, 100 people. It doesn't matter. Our hospitals are being overran because we don't have enough ventilators, right? It doesn't matter if more people die of the flu, more people die of cancer. Those people don't need motherfucking ventilators. Right? Those people don't need this, they don't need that.
Also, we have a flu vaccine. The scariest thing is that we don't know how to cure COVID. The thing is, you just need to have a good enough body to get through it.
Yeah, the other thing is too, which I'll say, I don't know how you guys are.
Sure.
I love conspiracy theories. I love it. I really do.
Same.
I love reading them.
Yes.
But I am hard pressed when people are trying to convince me of them.
Exactly. So, for example, just on that point,
sure,
I like reading about flat Earth. Do I think the Earth's flat? No.
Not at all. Yeah.
Do I like reading about it? Do I think they have some good points sometimes? Yes. The better one is, do I think that we went on the moon? I do. But do I think that they have good points about how we didn't? Yeah, sure. I love reading about it. Same with UFOs. I like to believe that UFOs are real. I like to believe Bigfoot's real. I like to believe that Chupacabra's real. All those things, but maybe not. I'm on both sides, so I'm more on the side of science, but I'll keep the doors open, which means, the only reason I bring this up is when I see people on the internet saying how this is a government hoax so they can arrest pedophiles, so that they can arrest whatever the fuck they say. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, man, I could be with you 90%, but what changes at the end is I'm like, it's still science. And I feel like the president and the government is trying to save lives right now. Let's be on that side. Let's stay home. Let's be normal. You can still believe in your conspiracy theory, right? Because I still give precedent. I'm like, hey, you never know, right? Like whatever your theory is could be right. For now, let's believe in let's listen to what everybody's telling me.
Yeah, we can all be our own type of asshole, but a virus doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, so, and the reason I say all that is because I still, like, sometimes I'm just like, man, I just want to train, you know, like if either one of you are like, hey, let's hit some mitts. Like, I really want to, and I think we're going to be okay. And I probably would do it, to be honest with you. I probably shouldn't, because I gotta lead by example to a degree, right? I can't.
That's what I was going to say when we get the chance to, when this is all done, we do need to redo this, not redo it, but do a part 2. And because it's just a different, that's the one thing about dudes getting together and drinking. It'd have to be later on a weekend, like we do a lot of times, Butch, because there's just a different energy. Of course, those are the ones that are harder to put out on Facebook, but it's a lot of fun.
So we did, how many we've done, 2 or 3?
We've done 3.
There's only one that I wouldn't share with people. The other ones are okay. I mean,
yeah, we've done 1 with Lisa and 2 with you and Lisa and 2 with just you.
Something, it seems right. There's only one that it was questionable, and it wasn't bad. It was just, when we started off the cuff, it was a little rough, you know.
Yeah, there's just a few.
That's rhyme.
Yes.
Which is the great thing about podcasts, because there's a lot of topics that you can get into.
It's just,
you know, people don't want to listen to it. It's just you can't really publicize it.
It kind of goes back to the comedy thing. There's certain things that the 3 of us would say together, right?
Sure.
That we don't want somebody judging us on, right?
And that's where I get more upset about podcasts and just, or podcasts or talk shows or whatever than comedy, because comedy, the goal is to make someone laugh, and if you're not making them laugh, okay, you're a shitty comic. But podcasts, like, I hate that there's things that we can't talk about, things that might be true, or just like we can talk about flat earth. None of us believe the earth is flat, but just talking about it, you know, Mike gets flack. There's so many things that deal with sexuality that you can't talk about, and just talk about without getting flack for it, or like social issues like racism and stuff. Like there's so many things in the podcast that, like, I would love to talk about all these topics, but even me, who, like, I'm a self-proclaimed kind of a guy who's like, we could talk about anything, I'm worried, you know, whenever that recording thing is on, I'm like, oh shit, I feel like I'm in a box.
Out there forever, right?
Yeah.
Like Kevin Hart, he got judged for some gay comments that meant nothing to him years ago, right?
Yeah, but he also apologized for it already.
And he's the coolest dude in the world. Like, I know, you know, but it's the same thing. So, like, somebody could take whatever we say out of context, where I could be saying it to you as a joke, or you as a joke, or, you know what I mean? And then, I mean, everybody says goofy stuff. You could say stuff that,
yeah, absolutely,
yeah, slightly whatever it is, but I don't want to be judged for anything I say, because here's the thing: like, we all know what kind of people we are, but other people don't know what kind of people we are. You know,
right?
What I mean?
Right.
And also, everyone changes. Like, I used to use, you know, as a kid in the middle school, like, I would call, like, I would say the word fag.
Oh, I use it a lot. Yeah.
Sure. And I have no judgment. Yeah. And then when I grew up and, you know, made my circle bigger and met people that where that word was used to really hurt them, you know, I was like, oh, I was kind of a dickhead. And that's not me judging you for using that word. I hope you know that. But
well, I don't I don't use it now. I'm the same way you are. It was when I say it's a great word, it was a great word. The way it was used was not in that way.
Right.
It was when
Exactly. And I never
young.
used it in a way to put people down that were actually LGBTQ plus or anything like that. But after hearing, friends of mine that have talked about how that word affected them, I was like, oh, the problem is if someone recorded me saying that, even if it was 10 years ago
Right.
and someone plays a recording of me saying that, that's me now. That's me in the present. To everyone that's heard that, that's the current Matthew. He says that word. He thinks like this. And that's the message that gets out to people. And even if you apologize, even if you put out like, guys, it's not me, that's going to hit less people.
Yes. Or people think you're lying, right?
Yeah.
The funny thing is the only person I really hear using it now is one of my gay friends, and he calls me that. You know what I mean? So it's just.
I don't even think that's the unfortunate thing, like the word gay or the word fag, which are obviously bad words now, but like we didn't use them in that way. You would just say that's gay, but you didn't think of it as offensive, right? Like you
Right. You're just like a young person that's normal.
Yeah.
And then, there's so many words that were used, in the 20s and 50s. And when my dad grew up, and he's told me, he's like, man, I used to hear, and so my dad's an immigrant. And so he never used certain words because he himself was different than everybody else in the country.
Yeah.
But he was, he's like, I would hear those words and think something's wrong, but not the way that I think of it now.
When
And
did your dad come to the country per se?
so my dad immigrated in 77.
That's when I was born.
Yeah. Yeah. He came over in
The
77.
reason I ask is he's a very sweet man. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
too, and you learn more as you go, but he's a very sweet person.
Yeah, he's someone I admire a lot. And it's kind of funny. And I asked him, I was like, Dad, like, how did you find and I was like, you read about racism in history and stuff. And so I was like, oh, Dad, did you face this stuff? He's like, no. He was like, I'm more scared for you today because of the politics now than I was because he said, he's like, I went to the gun range and people loved me. They wanted to show me everything. They wanted to immigrate me into American life. And that wasn't the norm in the 70s. I know this. That was just my dad's case.
Is there Indian racism?
No, in the sense that no one's racist to me because I'm Indian. They're racist to me because I look different, and I fit the bill for anything. I fit the bill for Muslim. I fit the bill for Arabic. I fit the bill for basically everything I'm not. And even if I was those things, I would just say like fuck off.
So Matt, Jeff's never met you. Like,
sure.
Do you look at Matt? Like, I just literally don't look at you, other than being tan. I don't.
Right.
I don't see
being racist too. I feel like Indian people are different. You don't look like your typical
Indian.
Yeah.
Look, and two of my best friends
say it, but I don't mean it in that way.
No, and that's another topic of things like why can't we talk about the way people look? Like they're black people, they're brown people. I don't look Indian. It's okay to say it's something that you observe in life. If it doesn't affect your opinion, that's the important part.
Yeah, but literally everything I say doesn't. So I just don't. I don't care. I come from Cleveland, which is
right.
Right. So I don't care. I just don't care. I don't know.
Yeah. And I know you personally, and I know that you would not what color I was. Like I could walk into your gym, anything, and you wouldn't care.
If you said you're Indian, if you said you're Muslim, if you said you're black, I'd be like, cool. Like they're in my school, like everybody on the basketball team or football team or what, you know what I mean? There's every different color. I just don't think in those terms. However, I come from a more diverse culture.
Yeah, I think it's okay to observe that someone looks different. We are biologically supposed to identify when someone is different. Mm-hmm. That's okay. When you let it affect your opinion, that's where you draw the line.
Where would it affect?
Absolutely.
This is weird questions.
Sure.
But where would it affect? Because Simpsons, like I don't watch The Simpsons, but
Yeah.
what is that guy's name that works at 7-Eleven?
Apu.
Yeah.
So they
And I know
did a
it's-
thing where they have this character Apu who's brown, and they make fun of his accent and his culture and stuff.
Yeah.
But they also have a Scottish guy that they make fun of, or an Irish guy and stuff like that. And the thing, we have to be okay with laughing and making fun of everyone.
Mhm.
And I understand America's a very special case because it is harder for other groups of people in this country. Civil rights happened and there was a lot of racism predominantly towards the black community. My community did not face that, so we do have to take different measures when it comes to what we do because of that. And so with the case of the Simpsons, I'm kind of back and forth. In the comedian in me wants to say, okay, we have to be able to make fun of everybody. Right, because that's what you should do. If you're going to make fun of Indians, okay, let's make fun of everyone. Indians, Pakistanis, Asians, Irish, Scottish, Americans, white, black, let's do it. Because that's, that's fair. But unfortunately, life isn't fair because all of these groups of people have been treated differently and have faced their own sufferings no matter where.
I feel like that's the part we lost when we were talking about earlier, right? You used to be able to make fun of everybody.
Sure.
So, and I say this because I've never watched The Simpsons. I really haven't. I've watched some clips. I know what it is. I think it's funny, but I know that was an issue. But even in my own background, Hiles is a German name, right? I get
Yes.
it. But my ancestors, more or less, are Polish. They changed their name so they could get work in the United States. So let's say that they had the name Ski at the end, right? It's mostly a Polish name. So they changed their name to, I think, Schultz or Bush or something that had zero to do with Ski at the end. But they're all Polish so they could get work. And then somewhere along the line, one of them married somebody that was German and it came Hiles and blah, blah, blah. I literally don't give a shit what my ancestry is. I just don't I don't know why people care. I don't care. I'm a human. You're a human. You're a human. I don't really give a shit, but I know other people do care. Like I said, I just know it's a big deal. Like that people make fun of the 7-Eleven. So the weird thing in Cleveland, for example, when I was in the 90s, every corner store, every 7-Eleven, which is what they're kind of making fun of, they're saying Indian people run it.
Yeah.
In Cleveland, it was all Arabic and Muslims, which is the thing. So there was a lot of Muslim hate, and rightfully so, I would say. I mean, that sounds bad, but I would say
I'm waiting for the explanation on this before I jump in.
I would just say in high school, only reason I say like rightfully so is in high school. So when we went to war with Iraq, and people in high school would be like, "Fuck you, USA, Scud missile #1." You know.
Oh, so you're not saying it was right to be racist towards them. You just understood why people were.
Say people start like the younger generation started shit, and everybody started getting weird.
Stupid kids.
Yeah, stupid kids.
Okay, for a minute I was like, did Butch just say?
Yeah, no.
We're getting into something new.
It still sounds bad, and there's no way to make it not sound bad. If it wasn't for the war, nobody even brought attention to it. Every store is owned by Arabics, not Indians, and nobody even paid attention until the Iraq War. And it was just high school kids making fun of other people. Then it became a thing, and then it's not a thing now, right? Only reason I bring that up is because it wasn't Indian people, it's Muslim people.
Yeah, it's just, and I'm not calling people ignorant, but people immediately jump to the conclusion of what they see, not what they have yet to understand, which is that I don't fit those categories. I'm just brown, so I'm the target.
And that's the other thing. I guess I didn't. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But I was gonna say we talked about that. I didn't even pay attention until it was brought up, right? But
yeah, and the bad thing is like I feel bad more for people that are actually Muslim and Arabic because I get mistaken for it, and then there's been occasions
that's bad on that if you get mistaken for it. They just hate Muslims.
It's just a stigma.
It's a stigma that like Muslims hate America, and I grew up with Muslim friends, and that's very far from the truth. Or that they're this type of way, or that they.
It's tough.
It's a lot.
Islam extremists, right? It's a tough one, right?
Well, it's
Yeah.
just like the crazy Christians. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just
Exactly.
it's
That's
been
great.
blown up because I have Muslim friends. They're great people, and
Great point.
and that crazy Baptist church in Texas where they're protesting funerals.
They all Christian as snake handlers, right?
If they looked at all of us like that, which I think all
Yeah.
religions get a bad name from a small group. I think that's
I mean, yeah,
the
absolutely.
way it works. I don't like a lot of what religion is about, and I would categorize myself as a Christian. But then again, somebody said, "Are you Christian?" the other day, and it was weird. One, that they asked me and they didn't know me, and two, I didn't want to answer because I don't want what is your version of Christian?
Well,
what is your version of Muslim?
My wife and I've been thinking about it a lot lately too, because think about it, like Jesus was a Jew, and Jewish they're not Christian, they're Jewish, right? They're whole like, what I'm saying? It's very confusing. I don't know.
We're not going to go down this road.
It's not.
Because we'll be here for 3 more hours. If we get into religion, I love getting into that stuff.
Yeah, no, it's best that we don't. But that's what I'm saying. That's why the exact point is why I don't go too crazy, because I'm like, well, the Jewish people don't even believe like the Christian people. Like, nobody knows. As long as everybody's happy, as long as you're a good person, that's all I care about, right? I don't really care about the religious stuff. Most of you guys, most normal people are the same, right? We shouldn't. As long as you're a good person, I don't really give a shit about the other. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Get even back into the political thing. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Christian, Jewish, Muslim. It's just, you just got to be a good person. I literally don't care about the rest of the stuff,
Yeah, I was fortunate, like you said. I grew up, and my dad was we grew up in a very accepting family where we didn't see color. And then I moved to Atlanta, and it was nice. I lived there when my kids were small for 8 to 10 years, and we were like the only white folks on the street. We lived in a nice neighborhood. It was but it was really cool for my kids. They don't, and when I say there was one other white couple across the street, I think it wasn't just black there were Asian families, there's black families, there's Indian families there. It was just, there was some Arabic, but it was so cool that they don't see color now. They just don't see color like growing up here in West Virginia.
It's very strange.
Like you said, Matt, if you grow up in West Virginia, there are going to be a group of people that are going to look at you sideways.
Yeah, and I didn't experience that until I was outside of Charleston for a long period of time, because I grew up in Charleston, capital city. It didn't ever hit me that people would look at me weird or dislike me without even knowing me because of the way I looked, until I went to college. I went to college in a very small town, West Virginia, in Buchanan, West Virginia.
Oh, okay.
What college is that?
Sorry?
What's in Buchanan? What college?
West Virginia Wesleyan College.
Wesleyan.
I went to Glenville State, so that was like one of the rivals.
Yeah, and it was the weirdest thing, because the first racist thing that ever happened to me, I got called the N-word.
You did?
Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
weirdest thing, because like
You don't look that brown. You look tan.
no, and so I didn't even realize I was being called that, because obviously I don't know,
I got you. Yeah.
I was in Walmart, and I was with my girlfriend, who was white, or ex-girlfriend. She was white, and we were walking together, and like, we all have been in West Virginia long enough to where, like, if you make eye contact with someone, you go, "Hey, what's up?" Like, that's just I don't know if it's an everywhere thing, but
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
You want to
People look at you like you're crazy.
yeah, we say hi to each other. That's how we've always done it in Charleston. That's how we do it everywhere we go. And I was passing an aisle, and there was this very old couple, like very old, definitely at least in their 70s. And I accidentally made eye contact with the husband. And I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" He just kind of like peered at me, and I was like, "Oh man, that guy is grumpy," is what I thought in my head.
Yeah.
And then I turned the aisle, and I was with my girlfriend, and I think I was holding hands with her. And he turned to his wife, and I guess they thought we had kept on going down and not turned into the next aisle. And I heard him go, "Oh, I can't believe she's with a," and he said the N-word. And like, so in my head, I was like, who did he just call that to? Or like, I was like, wow. And my girlfriend turned to me and she's like, you idiot. Like, it's you.
You might have been
Cause
the only one in Buchanan, though. I mean,
yeah,
you might have.
it's true. Like, I was the only, like, I was about to say I wasn't the only black guy. I'm not a black guy.
Right. I get.
At the school, I was the only Indian. But there were a lot of black kids, a lot
I
of
would
white
never
kids.
even thought that was a thing. Like
Yeah,
Indian racism. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
it's weird because I didn't really experience racism until the last, I would say, 5-6 years.
You think that's because you're in West Virginia, or do you think that's worldwide? Like,
It's weird because I've lived in West Virginia my whole life and never really experienced it until
where
the
when you were in Germany?
in Germany, people, which it's okay. This is the weirdest thing. I loved the way people saw me in Germany because they saw me because I made friends with a lot of Germans and they told me they saw me as an American, not in a good way. They're like, "Oh, that dumb
Like
American."
a brown American, just
Yeah,
a.
I felt more American being in Germany than I ever felt here.
But like I was watching a show, trying to think what Jack Ryan.
Right. Good
Right.
first season, horrible second season.
I
Oh,
agree.
okay, so
I
I watched
quit.
it.
I quit in the second season.
They said in France, so the example was in American, you could be an African American, or French American, or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But in France, you're not a French American. You're either French or you're not a French. You know what I mean? You're either French or not a French.
Yeah. I can't speak to France, but
So maybe that's how other places are. You know?
yeah, in England, from my experience with, I was in England for 3 or 4 months. That was how it was. If you were English, you were English. If you weren't, well, you weren't. In Germany, same thing. Is Germany took massive steps leading up to the modern Germany to help people immigrate, to get rid of fascism, get rid of racism because of the horrible things happened during World War II. If you talk to Germans, most of them that I talk to, at least, will look at you weird when you say that you're prideful of your country because they believe that pride leads to racism and fascism and then these horrible things that happen. I mean, they have a whole different outlook now because of the horrible atrocities that
Yeah,
were committed in their
yeah,
country.
makes sense. Yeah.
And it was the weirdest feeling. Like it felt like I knew they saw me as like the dumb American, which a lot of friends, like, we joked like, oh, he's the dumb American. And it was such a kind of a good feeling because they didn't say, like, no one ever made a joke about my skin color, which I do with my friends, which is fine because they're my friends. But
Sure.
the only ever looks I got was because I was American. Like I said, it's weird saying this, but yeah, I felt more American there than I ever had been in my adult years living in West Virginia.
So that's interesting. So
That's
it's
cool.
just more that be racism against America? Like,
I mean, we can only ever talk. I can only ever speak to my own personal experience. Um, but
West, do they call it Western? Like they don't like the West? Is that more a Muslim thing?
so whenever I was, well, you speaking like if people knew what West Virginia was?
Not West Virginia,
Oh.
but you know that people say like I hate the West, and the West is the, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Oh, so the West, like, yeah, the West still applies to most of Europe, though, if not all.
Does it really?
Like that saying, yeah, it applies to England, French,
Okay,
Germany, Spain.
just as long as you're not part of United Emirates or what? What
Yeah, I think the West-East divide happens. It also depends who's saying that, too. Like if a Chinese person talks about the West, I assume Europe and American. But when
Also, apologize for making you the expert.
no, I mean, like I said, like I am totally fine speaking on all of these topics, but it should be known that these are all because of my personal experience, and
Yeah.
it's not the personal experience of everyone of a different ethnicity.
So, unrelated. This is probably taking you too deep. So, you
We can go as deep as you want, Butch.
yeah. So you're still Christian religion wise. You're not.
No, I'm not religious in any sense of the word.
What is a typical Indian religion?
Yeah, if you were to pick a random Indian, most likely they'd be Hindu.
Hindu. What is the difference between Hindu and Buddhist?
So Buddhism, okay, so Hinduism, I know a little bit about these topics. I'm definitely not an expert.
You're better than me.
So Hinduism has
He's very smart. Smart
Right.
people have glasses.
So Hinduism has a lot of gods. They have, I think, 300
Yeah.
million plus gods, depending on
They
your
do.
sect of Hinduism. And now I'm sure, I think the three of us, like how we grew up with Christian parents, right? Am I correct about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the understanding that there's different sects of Christianity. There's like what, 16,000 different sects. There's Baptism, Presbyterian, Catholics,
Yes. I
things we
don't
haven't
know
heard of.
what Lutheran is or a Baptist or I don't.
Right. And I think we forget that that applies to every religion
Okay.
too.
It does.
Um, So in
Like Hare
Hinduism,
Krishna. Do you know the Hare Krishnas in West Virginia? Not to get off topic. but
sure. What'd you say?
The Hare Krishnas in West Virginia?
The Hare Krishna?
Yeah, like the Palace of Gold. Do either one of you guys know that?
I've heard that name, but I don't actually know anything about it.
Neither one of you? Jeff?
The Palace of Gold. Is that a
What's wrong with you two? Do you seriously not know this?
this?
I seriously don't know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Strip club
So,
that-
honestly, you guys need to Google this shit.
I'm gonna hop on the Google right now.
Get on the
So-
Google machine.
There's
I'm
a
getting on the
lady,
Google machine.
Taj Mahal of America.
I know the Taj Mahal.
The Taj Mahal of America is in Wheeling, West Virginia.
So what's it called?
The Palace of Gold by the Hare Krishnas.
I know about the Hare Krishnas. I didn't realize they were big here.
Matt, can you put this on your feed of your face? Can you turn it? Can you
I'm actually on a different computer right now.
the Jamie of Joe Rogan of
Okay. Prabhupada's Palace of Gold. I probably mispronounced the fuck out of that. Okay. So my mom calls me the coconut because I'm brown on the outside but white on the inside.
I'm gonna get out of that. I'm gonna help you guys out. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna help this out here.
Oh god, Jeff, can you remind me where we were?
What's that?
Oh, I think I was talking about how when we say East and West, it's kind of like when I say I'm Asian, people will look at me weird because I'm like, I'm Asian, and people will say, oh, wait a minute, but you're Indian. I'm like, oh, guess where it's located, you know?
Asia.
It's yeah, it's not something. So all these there's no hard line when it comes to these labels, when it comes to East and West. Like geography obviously plays a role, but when we
Right.
say East and West, what we're really talking about is culture.
Okay.
And there is definitely a hard line between Chinese and Japanese culture, and there's a hard line between Chinese culture and American culture.
You guys,
What is it?
you watching this video here, guys?
I'm seeing what's on your
This
wall.
is West Virginia. I'm assuming I have
Looks
not
like
seen this video. Look, yes, they went to the palace. This is in Wheeling, West Virginia.
Huh.
No joke.
That
If you go
is
into-
blowing my mind.
Yes,
So I never knew this was in Wheeling, West Virginia.
literally. This is no joke. This is like the Taj Mahal of America. The United States is in Wheeling, West Virginia. Look at this. No joke. Look at this video. I mean, it's unreal.
It's crazy.
So I can't give you the entire story because I don't know it. Look at this right here. This is a secret. So you go up a secret thing. There, see, it says Hare Krishna in the corner.
Mhm.
This is in West Virginia. It's secret. Like you literally go. Look at that. Unreal.
Wow. Let's go.
And you can go. Yes, you can go. And they have all this stuff. So I'll attempt after we watch this video here. I'll attempt to give you the background story here in just a second. But look at this stuff. It's unreal. If nobody knows about this,
I've never seen this. This is kind of blowing my mind, honestly, because
Well,
I've been to Wheeling.
you
I
didn't know.
would never have thought that this would be here in West Virginia.
All right, well, I'm gonna let the video play out, and then I'll give you my version of everything. I mean, look at this. This is unreal. This 100%. This is the Taj Mahal of America. Is in Wheeling, West Virginia. The Hare Krishna. This is it. I mean, you're looking at it now. This is unbelievable, right? You guys are
Yeah.
probably your mind's blown.
Oh, I'm blown.
You're blown.
Yeah,
My mind's blown.
sure.
I wouldn't mind being blown.
Look at this. And you can go to this. Any of you guys can go to this. This is you can, I don't know what you pay for the tour. But you can look this up, take a tour. They'll take you there. And one of the Hare Krishna people will give you the lowdown of everything. big rose garden. This thing is millions and millions of dollars this costs to make. That's the thing. That's what's crazy is millions and millions of dollars it costs to make, and it's in Wheeling, West Virginia, and not many people know about it.
That's nuts. So right before we move to this, do you mind if I go pee?
Yeah, go pee. And then after we hear Butch's explanation, I hate to be a party pooper, but I have to jump on a Zoom with my brothers.
Okay, gotcha. Well, let me go pee real quick. I still have my headphones on, so I'll be able to hear you guys. But I'll turn the audio off so you don't hear me pee.
Well, sit down. Sit down when you pee so that we don't have to hear you pee.
I'll just put my mic up and you won't hear me. Don't worry.
Oh, well.
All right, Jeff, how much time are you looking at here?
Like 10 minutes or so.
10 minutes? Jesus Christ, what you doing over there? That's fine.
I just have to jump on something else around 9.
Okay.
That's why when we talked earlier, I was like, I really would like to be done by 8:30 or so I can jump on this other.
Rapid. I mean, is there a topic you're looking for to cover other than this Palace of Gold that you guys didn't know about?
No, this is great because I think this is something, if you guys want to, again, we got all kinds of stuff we could get into and talk about. Like I think just from this conversation, I've got a lot of sidebar stuff I could have jumped in and we could have got lost. So, I mean, if we want to do it again next week or the week after while we're freaking quarantined, that wouldn't be a bad idea, I don't think. I mean, I'd love to get it out there for my podcast. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So this stuff is pretty crazy. I mean, you've seen all these pictures, obviously, right? You've never seen any of this stuff, huh?
I didn't know about this. And if somebody told me about it, it never clicked.
I would be hard-pressed to believe someone that this existed.
I would have dismissed it.
I mean,
it kind of unfortunately, our mindset as people, even not from West Virginia, but it's like if somebody says their Hare Krishna's capital's in Wheeling, West Virginia, I'll be like, well, it's not a big deal then. You know, it's just not a big deal here in America.
Right, because a lot of Americans don't even know we're a state.
Right. I get that all the time. That's when I was in Georgia, people would go, yeah, ask me where I'm from. I'd tell them West Virginia. They go, oh, I've been to Richmond.
Yeah, same here. They're like, I love Virginia Beach. I'm like, yeah, well, that's like 8 hours from me. So
when I was living in Europe, I'd be like West Virginia, and people are like, oh, I don't know that. I'd be like, that's on country roads. I'd be like, oh my God, country roads. I'm like, yep, I live there.
This is also about Virginia, right? Not West Virginia.
Shh, it's okay. It's about West Virginia. We don't know.
Yeah,
it's fine.
So anyway, I'll tell you about this video since you guys.
I'm editing that out.
So I also did not know. So I think along the, I had an ex-girlfriend and we were looking up for stuff to do, and there was the Moundsville prison tour, right? Have you guys heard about
Very
that?
romantic. Very romantic.
Yeah. So we went on the Moundsville prison tour, but while that which is also very cool, but this was also part of it. So we looked this up, and they actually kind of intertwine. So my version of the story, and for anybody who listens to this, don't get pissed off because I'm not going to give you the best version. But they kind of intertwine because a lot of people that were in Moundsville prison got converted to Hare Krishna because of some of those people were in the Moundsville prison at the time.
Okay.
But essentially at that time, so not now, because these people are still there, the Hare Krishna people were, I think, again, don't hold me to this, they were in trouble for selling guns, selling drugs, and for child molestation. So again, you need to look this up. Don't hold me to this.
I would fact check that.
Well, here's the thing. So I knew. Here, you want to take a shot? Well, since you got some, I got a vodka shot here. Matt, you got anything?
Oh, I can go grab a shot real quick.
We'll grab a shot and then we'll do one. I'll keep
bourbon.
I'll be right back.
I've got vodka since we're here.
And I think my shot glass is
pretty big.
I think it's a double. You remember these? I think we got them when you were here. Remember, they were a little bigger.
They're perfect.
They're I don't know. They're paper, plastic.
All right. What time are you ending? So we got 8:45. You got 15 minutes or 10 minutes? 10 minutes?
10.
All right. We'll wait for him to come back, and I'll explain some of this stuff, and then we'll hit the road. But if you want, we can make another day. We'll do part 2.
I like it.
Feel like you've hit some good information right now?
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
We can probably delve deeper into Matt's comedy stuff, right?
Oh yeah, we could dig in. I could ask all kinds of questions. I'm so fascinated with it.
Well, hopefully you guys are having good. I mean, hopefully everybody's happy with everything.
I mean, I just want to say, like, I'm
Right.
totally. It's kind of like when you get paid for a comment. Like, I feel honored that you guys would want to have me on and like talk.
And I feel like we didn't know what we were going to do, and we've just talked so long, but we haven't really. We have got another 2 hours of talking into us.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure we could talk all night.
All right. You in there? What you got going on?
I didn't get a shot glass, but I just got a bottle of vodka.
All right.
It works.
You guys ready?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Man, that's tough.
Oh, I should have grabbed a chaser.
Me too. I ran out of stuff. But anyway, on to the Hare Krishna stuff. So this is what happened. I was going out of Moundsville prison. Whatever you call that. You pay for money to go look at it.
Uh-huh.
What do you call that? Expedition? Or something like that.
A tour?
Yeah, tour. There you go.
There we go.
So we looked up the Hare Krishna Palace of Gold for some. I don't know if somebody knew about it, but so you pay like $5-10, not very much. They put little footies on your feet because they don't want to mess anything up. But apparently, these guys had no building experience. They had nothing. They knew nothing. This is kind of what helps their religion. They had no nothing, and they built this palace of gold that cost millions of dollars with no carpentry experience, no nothing. And they imported a lot of stuff from Italy, from France. It's millions of dollars worth of architecture. It's beautiful. It almost makes you think that there must be something to their religion if they built all this with no experience, no nothing in between. I mean, you saw the stuff behind you, right? Like the Taj Mahal looking stuff, the marble floors, the gold inlay. So I knew nothing of this in the between. So me and this ex-girlfriend went on this tour together. And this guy, the entire time, I guess he thought I was part of the media. He was like fucking with me. I didn't even know. He was like, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "Charleston." He's like, "Oh, we didn't kill any babies today." And I was like, "Well, that's good. I'm glad you didn't kill any babies." Like he just kept like ribbing me, but I thought we were just joking the entire time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, "Yeah, we didn't kill any babies today." I'm like, "I'm glad because I didn't feel like seeing any babies die today." He's like, "Well, that's good." And then we go on and he talked more about the tour. And he's like, "Yeah, this room was built, blah, 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 by all these people. And we spent all these millions of dollars on this." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And he's like, "Yeah, nobody's buried in our back fucking yard." I was like, "Well, that's good." It's like me the entire time, me and him are going back and forth, but I'm literally thinking it's just a joke. So anyway, we go back and I look all this stuff up on Google. And so that's all the stuff they're accused of. They're accused of running arms. They're accused of child molestation. They're accused of burying bodies in the woods and all this stuff.
Oh, God.
Plenty of this stuff, right?
That's nuts that this happened in West Virginia. I've never heard of this.
Yeah, so he thought I was part of the media because I said from Charleston. So like I look it up and I'm like, well, shit, I didn't know that. I was just having a good time, So we were just walking around. So we go to this giant, they have a giant lake. And they have all these rooms where you go to a room and you'll see like all these shoes laying on the floor. So I'm like, why are these shoes out here? I don't know anything about this stuff. I'm just being ignorant, And it's part of their religion. But anyway, they're praying and they're praying. I guess you got to say Hare Krishna. I'm going to sound like an asshole and ignorant, but because I don't know about their religion, it's not being an asshole.
Sure.
But they're like, I guess you got to say Hare Krishna like so many times a day. And so I'm at this lake where
Is the phrase Hare Krishna, or is the Hare Krishna like a type of prayer?
Both.
No. Okay.
You got to say it over and over.
So like a mantra, like you're meditating.
But also
Okay.
I'm ignorant and I'm stupid. I really
I'm
don't.
not saying that like I know. It's more of a question.
Exactly. I literally don't know. So I'm being ignorant, probably an asshole. So look it up because I don't know. It was just like I went to look at this place, which is awesome. right? So I'm giving them credit, and even now, I'm giving it credit. It's beautiful. It's awesome. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Um, it's just till I looked it up, and they got in trouble for for selling arms. Most importantly, for selling guns, and I think some drugs and some child molestation. But these are all things I don't have anything to do with. It was just stuff I read. So look it up, right? So what they do is they shave their entire head, but they keep a ponytail in the back. So you'll see the entire head shaved and a ponytail in the back, and they'll say a bunch of weird stuff. So literally, I was having back and forth conversations with people that were being rude to me, but I didn't know. They're like, "Hey, we got all the babies buried in the garden over there." I was like, "Well, that's cool. I don't need to see them." You know what I mean? But
So they thought you were trying to
they
investigate.
thought I was part of the media. Yeah, I don't know why. A lot of times my haircut makes me look like I'm police or whatever, or military or something, I think.
I mean, I can see that, but I don't know why that sounds out as media.
Yeah, I was literally, it was funny because everything they said to me, I would just say something funny back. Just like we were talking about comedy. Like they'd be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I've got all the babies buried in the garden." I was like, "Well, fuck them babies." You know, like I would just say something stupid back.
Right.
So I looked it up and I was like, "Oh, they were accused of all this stuff I didn't know." Right. But here, bottom line is whatever happened in the past, they don't have nothing to do with now, right? They seem like very good people. I have a gym in Moundsville, West Virginia, with my friend JJ Corley. He runs a place, I think he called it Odin's Eye now.
Okay.
He's had some of those guys down, so they'll have bald heads and a ponytail in the back, right? Like literally just a patch, a ponytail, no hair, blah, blah, blah. That's how he knows how they're there. Some of them are cool, some of them are weird. So he's trained them, said they're cool. The bottom line is, like I said, at one point in time, whoever ran that cult, it was a cult at some time, was very weird, right? They're normal now. It seems like a good religion. They're either Buddhist or Hindu because I'm ignorant, so I don't know.
So the Hare Krishna, like I said before, just like there's sects of Christianity, there's different sects of every religion.
Mhm.
This is a pretty far offshoot of Hinduism. So the religion that you would eventually tie it back to is Hinduism.
So explain, is that a good religion?
Is any religion good or bad?
That's what I was going to ask. What is a good
I'm saying it
religion?
as in a good, because I don't want anybody to think I'm talking shit. I don't.
Sure.
Well, what
Um,
about
I mean, it just depends on if the people are good, really.
They were fine. Like, listen, here's the thing. You could take a tour of the facility, which you saw. I don't know what the hell that guy in the glasses is doing now. But whenever I showed you that video, you could take a tour of the facility for like, let's say $3 or $5.
Sure.
They would put some booties on your shoes so you didn't mess anything up. These were marble floors. These were chandeliers. These were things imported from France, from Italy. Unbelievable that it's hidden in the woods of Wheeling, West Virginia. Unbelievable, right? That you didn't know about it. I didn't know about it. Somebody told me it's literally you go up a thing that looks like a four-wheel track into the woods of West Virginia. You look like you're gonna die. You're going into Deliverance, and all of a sudden you come into the Taj Mahal of West.
Yeah, I want to know, like, who financed all this?
Well,
That's the
it's a
thing.
cult,
So
and that's why I say it's not a good religion. But I'm just being opinionated.
Apparently, I'm being a douchebag. I don't really know.
I'm
Apparently,
skeptical.
all this money from dealing.
Definitely, the thing is, like, if it's a cult, in my head, like, if something's a cult, then it's not good because the word cult
Yes.
already means a lot of things.
So I didn't know any of this. I was here with my ex-girlfriend. I'm walking into people's houses and people's religion and people's churches, just walking in because I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't even know that I shouldn't be doing these things. I'm just walking in. People are looking at me weird because they're self-sufficient. They have goats. They have lambs.
Sounds like you're in the middle of a cult.
Yes, I was in the middle of something, right? So I'm just walking around observing, and then people are looking at me like weird, and I'm like, "Hey, how are you doing?" I'm just talking to them like normal, and they're like, "Why is this guy here? I don't even know why I'm here. I'm going to places I shouldn't be in because I didn't know of the history, right?" So anyway, I'm doing some stuff that shouldn't be done, and some stuff it doesn't matter. Ultimately, they're very nice people. Whatever happened in the past is in the past. I think they're very nice people now. I think whatever, I don't know the religion of Hare Krishna. It seems like they're nice people. Just like anything else. Anyway, the point is, I don't know. They seem like nice. There's a Taj Mahal of West Virginia, of America in West Virginia.
It's
so
crazy.
That's the point, right?
Have you guys watched the Wild Wild Country on?
Yes.
Yes.
That is
It sounds like that.
Yes. And there's and here's the thing. So those people will come down and they'll get jobs, from what I understand, and they'll train. And that's why people talk about them. They're like, that guy's really weird. He has like no hair and a ponytail. At one time, they were super weird. At one time, Moundsville was a prison, right? It's not really a prison now. Just like any other religion, they took over their prison. They converted a lot of people in Moundsville, West Virginia, to Hare Krishna. It's not a thing anymore. But at one time, that was a huge thing, right? So you saw that stuff. I mean, it's not on now. I wish it was on now. But it's a beautiful place. So if you can go now, regardless of what you think or what you want to think, it's a beautiful freaking place. I mean,
I'd love to see it.
Yes, beautiful. We should go together.
Let's go together.
Yes.
I'm always my favorite thing in the world is road trips. So
let's go as a threesome.
No, you heard me at. Fuck, I'm drunk. Sorry, you had me at threesome. That's what I'm trying to say. Really, you had me at let's. I'm just down for friendship in any sense.
Me too.
I don't know what's going on in the background of me, but there's a nice girl talking in the woods. Let's just say everybody's happy.
I'm oof. Sorry, I have a very low tolerance for alcohol, and I drank more tonight than I have.
I don't remember if you did a shot with us. Did you?
I took a big swig of this vodka.
He took a nice swig out of his bottle, so
yeah,
probably feeling pretty good.
I'm feeling. Yeah.
So I know Jeff's got to go somewhere. So let's round this up. It's we got 2 minutes to 9. He's got something to do at 9.
Sure.
So long, I'm thinking you guys did a good job. We did a good job with isolating, quarantining. You guys did a good job, right?
Right.
So far, great job at quarantining.
Yeah, we all did. So we also did a good job at comedy, because you won the comedy hour, right? I did.
Oh, me?
Good job. Yes, you.
You're the winner.
Oh, thank you. I just need any validation.
I did probably a good job
at
offending everybody, the Hare Krishna people, which I didn't mean to offend you. I'm just trying.
I am very offended. Especially because, once again, I don't fit the bill for who you're offending.
So, anyway.
Hare Krishna's.
Do you say Hare Christians? Because technically,
Krishna.
I guess I do fit that bill.
Yeah, you're Hare. You're very Hare. Jeff, just so you know, I've seen Matt naked pictures.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not an untrue statement, but we can get into that in part 2.
But let's do that. That's part 2, and then part 3 will be a road trip to the Hare Krishna.
Sure, absolutely. Jeff,
our geese.
Next time we do part 2 or part 3, in the background will be naked pictures of Matt.
Yeah, can do. Easy. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
I like that plan.
Yeah. So anyway, I appreciate everything. I don't know if we got to any specific point. Do either one of you guys know?
I mean, the great thing about this is that we're just here to talk. I don't think it matters if we make a point or not. I had so much fun doing this, guys.
Podcasting, just getting on here and shooting the shit. That's all it is.
Thank you.
To me,
3 brothers that I have to go to after this.
Look, we're communicating with people outside of our home right now. This is awesome.
Yeah.
You've got this giant black shadow in front of your mouth that I really like, Jeff.
Well,
next time I'll get one of those.
If I shave it, I'll look like a little kid.
No,
and then the Hare Krishnas will kill me after they molest me.
A phallic symbol in front of your face.
Not necessarily in that order from what I've heard, but yeah.
Oh, no. See, this is what I'm talking about. Next time, we're going to drink more.
Yeah.
We drank enough this time?
And then we'll have to think about it. Then we'll wake up the next day and you'll go, we'll all start texting. And it's like, wait, we need to listen to this before you post it.
Well, I hope you do a good bit of editing, because who knows what's going online.
Normally, I don't edit.
You don't?
My editing is I put our intro music at the beginning and at the end,
Sure.
and I post it.
Oof. All
Because-
right.
The first whatever minute that was.
No, I'll take that out because if a guest requested, I do it.
Yeah, take out the part where Butch was super racist.
Yeah, we'll take in the fag comment. We'll take that out.
You know how he was talking about
And
how
we'll
he
take
beats
it
his
out
wife
now
every
when I
night?
just
If
said
you could
it.
just take that out.
Yeah, we're going to take that out. We'll take out what I just said.
I hate white people.
Damn it, I'm going to do all kinds of editing,
Yeah, that's perfect.
and I suck at editing.
Well, I know that you got to get going. So I appreciate everything that you've done. I appreciate the nice sunset in the background that I'm pointing to right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, you did that, so you're thanking yourself. But that's okay. We thank you.
I'm kind of special. So we could do part 2 anytime that you want. I know you got to get going. So I don't know what that guy behind me is doing, but he's praising Allah. I'm very happy about that guy.
I don't know if it's
Different
Allah.
religion. But
Hare Krishna.
maybe I don't know.
I don't know. I got to figure it out. Yeah,
I know it's not Allah. I don't know who Hare Krishna
That's
is.
definitely not Allah.
Yahweh is because that's the Jewish.
Yahweh is Christian Judaism.
Yeah, that's Jehovah.
Yeah, I feel like he's praising. I don't even know what's going on.
I get into the
Look,
religion.
he's praising someone or something, but
Well,
Listen,
here's what I would like to say, Matthew. Thank you for your insights on comedy in West Virginia. Because Jeff and I, among probably a lot of listeners here, are looking forward to trying to figure out how to do this. Maybe we can all do it together.
I would love that. And like, I just want to say, like, I think I already said this, but it's kind of the same feeling that when you get paid $1 or $20 to do comedy. Like, I feel honored that you guys wanted to talk to me and have me on your show. So I really am thankful, and I would love to do it again. And it feels really good that you guys find me interesting in any respect to talk to me for this long.
well,
And I had an absolutely wonderful time, and I hope we do it again.
yeah, we will. I just don't want to bug you like on text and stuff. I have lots of questions, so
You can bug me anytime.
I've been.
I really mean that. Like, my phone is always on. When people want to talk to me, I see that as like I feel like, oh, they want to talk to me. Like, I love that. And I want to talk to you, and I want to talk to Butch all the time. I think that's really awesome. So
All right.
talk to me anytime, and I would love to do the podcast again.
Yeah, we'll do it again. We'll
Good.
This is a great time. I appreciate your time. I'm very grateful that you would that you'd agree to it. And
No, absolutely.
as always-
Anytime, really.
But whenever I put Butch's name on the headline, it usually does very well.
It's because he's so cute.
He is cute. Yeah,
He's a good-looking boy.
he is. He's
Look at
pretty
those
good looking.
wonderful rolling hills of West Virginia behind me.
It's the moneymaker right there. Is the rolling hills.
All right, let's shut it down, guys.
Yes, sir.
Stay in touch. Stay safe, and thanks for being a part of it.
No, thank you, Jeff. I hope you have a good another Zoom meeting. Hope you have a good
We're
one.
gonna have a little chat on Zoom with some people, but it's gonna be short because I'm gonna drink more.
All right.
All right, guys. Have a good evening.
That's good. You too.
All right, bye.
Bye.
I don't even know how to stop this shit.
Yeah, what the fuck is
I know
going on
that's
here?
one.